video series where I cover building a Harley. So yes, of course, burnouts, all kinds of wheelies are to be expected on a bike like this, but for it to really specialize in circle wheelies and stoppies is what I want to prioritize this build as. You can see all the crazy stuff that we're going to be planning on this new Roadster. All right, guys, if there's one thing I truly cannot take about this bike right now is this exhaust. This stock exhaust has got to go. It's heavy, it's quiet, and I just think a nice 2-to-1 like that would look absolutely killer on this bike. So let's make it happen. Now that we got this big old thing off, we need to take off this engine cover here to get off this little last exhaust bracket that is for the stock pipes. And when we're in here, probably a good time to do our mid controls. So we'll get into that as well. Goodbye forward. Now guys, in true build fashion, I figured it wasn't even a good idea to put the mid controls on yet, just because I got the chain and sprocket coming, and I'm gonna just bang out everything at once. Lord knows I don't have an impact gun big enough to get off that big old Betsy. Some things a breaker bar just won't do on, and that's one of them. So I'm gonna hold off on that till tomorrow. We got the exhaust off today. The forward's off on this side, at least get the other side as well. Get back to the chain and sprocket tomorrow.
Day 2.
Alrighty guys, we got this beautiful 2-to-1 chrome Bassani exhaust that we're gonna put on before we put the chain and sprockets on. It came with heat shields and a couple other things. I've ran the Dan Moto exhaust in the past. This is definitely the little bit more of a pricier option, and I'm really curious to see what the difference really is. The chrome is super shiny. I don't know if the video is gonna do it justice, but I'm curious to see how it's gonna look on this bike. I think it's gonna look pretty good, but we'll see. So after putting a couple things together, I realized that I was not going to be able to leave this exhaust on and put on the mids, and I wasn't going to be able to put on the chain drive. So I know this exhaust is coming off. So I just put it all together, tightened down a couple of the bolts here, and I was just really wanting to hear how this Bassani exhaust is going to sound. What do you think? I kind of want to crank her over. Oh yeah, sounds good. Crazy without the belt on there. Didn't want to piss off the neighbors too much. Parts are flying in, guys. I got the mids in. I got the chain and sprocket kit in. I have the bars. I got the 80-inch brake line for the handbrake. I'm gonna have to run a different sized rotor to make the handbrake kit work. So I got a stock one of these coming for a regular Sportster. The Roadster ones are a little bit smaller in diameter. I got a regular Sportster rotor coming. Other than that, guys, though, I'm trying to just keep chipping away at it as fast as I can because I am really excited on this bike build. I really am. Super easy install on this thing. It's literally just like 2 clamps and pretty much there. Up next, let's do the chain and sprockets.
Day 3.
All right, guys, so we're heading to the Hollywood Hills today, and they said, hey, you gotta drop by and come flex. It's Tuesday, it's the middle of the week, still haven't found our ways out of California.
Calvin, I forgot you were on.
Dude, fuck camouflage. I'm doing nudes all over my boys' bikes. You can tell they got some long-ass legs, man.
So he's not as big as he's gonna be. He's gonna probably be like, he's gonna weigh 60 to 90 pounds.
All right, guys, we're gonna head to LA's big stunt spot, C-Spot, down in an industrial area in East LA. Hopefully get the Mclaren out there. If not, though, we're gonna go try to do some circle wheelies on that bad girl and hopefully show these girls a good old time and maybe get rid of these tires once and for all because they've had a long-ass weekend. Wow. Unreal. Hey, you thirsty, my guy? Take her down!
Thank you.
You're welcome! All right, guys, we are finally ending this crazy trip from LA. These guys are getting out of here. Absolutely phenomenal time. It is time for us to get back on the road, back to Chicago, back to the cold weather, and back to stuff that we actually know.
So much later that the old narrator got tired of waiting and they had to hire a new one.
All right, guys, so we're going to be impacting off the old front sprocket that worked with the belt. And today is the day that we're putting the chain kit on. I think we went with a 24 up front and a 60 in the back. It's going to look really good on this. All right, guys, so we just got back from putting on this front sprocket. Gonna get to the rear. First, though, I wanted to put on this mid control, was able to sneak back here. I need to put this brake rod assembly back in place, tighten this up really quick, so. So I just got done putting on the right side mid, and I totally forgot. This is something that I think Sit Down Steve or Seabear or somebody like that had taught me. C-clamps for these pegs will allow this peg to go back and forth. So just get like a grade A bolt and tighten it down really good. And this gives you something to hook into now for your sit down wheelies, because now this peg isn't gonna bend back and forth. But if you go down still, this peg will fold in, obviously, because it's still a bolt. Now that I got these forward controls off, it's time to put them where they belong, on offer up. Maybe I'll get a couple bucks back on what I've been putting into this thing. Just a quick test fit here, finally after a while. I'm not gonna lie, as you can see, these R6 pads make, when they're seated, full contact with that rotor, which is exactly what we want to see. So I'm really excited to try out this bracket by Cox. And we're gonna do the left side one right up here for our foot brake. So we're gonna have a 4-piston for the foot and a 4-piston for the hand. Really similar to my old setup on my handbrake, except these monoblocks are gonna bite just a little bit harder than those CBR 1000s. These come stock with this Dunlop 120 19 tire, and after doing some research, Michelin 2CT, as much as I wanted it to, does not make a 19-inch tire. It's what I run on all my other stoppy bike. A lot of Harley guys have recommended, and I even ran on my old bike, was the Shinko 777. So hopefully that's got enough catch and grip to it that we can plop this thing up. So definitely got a bigger sidewall, but we do for sure have clearance as far as the front fender goes. Definitely a crazy difference between the softness of this tire compared to the old Dunlop. Although the sidewall, like I said, is about 20 bigger, because I think we went from a 70 to a 90. But looks good. Can't wait to break it in. I think we're gonna try running 35 PSI at first up front and work from there, adjust it as we go. My goal here was to really hopefully try to keep this chain guard and everything. We weren't able to on the last bike, but I think we're gonna be able to on this one. We went with a 60 back and a 24 front with the black chain. And hopefully we're gonna be able to keep all the stock stuff, and it looks like it's probably gonna happen. Day I thought I'd never see. We're putting a lip on a Harley. All right, guys, so this will probably be the last time we see stock tank like this. Our man Richie's gonna do a nice 6-inch lip on it. Hopefully not even cut into the tank, but do a nice little lip on the backside here. Just enough that we can do some tank tricks, but more importantly, hold ourselves in for stoppies and brace ourselves a little bit better. He's kind of the local man for all gas tank stuff. All right, guys, so as you can see, we just got the tank back. Our local boy Richie did an absolutely amazing job with it. He didn't even cut the tank like we suspected, just ground this down to bare metal right here and welded this structure around it. Now you got to remember, when you're doing one of these tanks, for all the tank builders out there, that this is mounted at a pretty crazy angle. So this angle being as wild as it looks, that's not that aggressive of a lip. We look at something like that, they're around the same type of aggressive lip. But of course, I'm still trying to have kids at some point in my life, so I don't want my nuts to totally get demolished. So we got to throw some HT Moto or something like this on it to save the crown jewels. So let's get to wrapping this in this. So we got it laid out real rough right now. We went vertical on the side here and horizontal. I always like to keep this horizontal pattern for up top where your butt's gonna sit. Now we're pretty much just gonna take a razor blade and trace around that little bit of excess there, and we should be all good after that. I'm so excited to jump into this thing for the first time. I've never done tank tricks on a Harley, but all right, guys, so as you can see, this came out absolutely awesome. I think it goes really well with the gripper seat too, just that same kind of texture. Definitely love the way it's positioned. It's definitely gonna hold my lower extremities in. Cannot wait to jump into this thing on a wheelie. We only got a couple things left on this build, like the masters, the bar, and all the crash protection. But after that, we are nearing the very end. It's literally been almost 2 months since I raffled this thing off. And you might be wondering, why hasn't he come and pick it up yet? Well, it turned out it was one of my long lost friends from the Marines that I haven't seen in years. And he was actually in Afghanistan for the past couple months. He just put in a special leave request to come home, not only for Christmas, but to come pick up his new Harley. He started it for the first time in like 2 months. My guy. Is this gonna be your first time riding a Harley?
Yeah.
First Harley ever. Great starter.
You better kill it.
Let her eat. All right, guys, so my guy Juan had some fun, took a little bit of a rash, doing some rolling burnouts out here. It's like 30 degrees, so this concrete is not all that warm. It's that cold. My guy over there, he's revving up his semi. Love having local companies like this that enjoy having us at their lot. But guys, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys are enjoying the Roadster build. I know it's only halfway done. Pretty cool to get to see one of my guys from way back in the day getting involved in the stunt world, especially on my old bike that I've got so many memories on. I know he's gonna be a killer. We're gonna get out of here, grab something to eat, and go get on with the rest of our day. If you guys liked the video, make sure to give it a like. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. And if you like what you saw, comment down below. Your least favorite motovlogger getting out of here.